All right. All right. All right. All right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming this morning with a wonderful message from Ecclesiastics, where Solomon has been pressed upon me to support the comfort that I needed this morning. The Father wanted me to understand that which I understood. I like that, Father. Yeah. The Most High Yah wanted me to understand that which I understood. It just at a level where one would think that the walk, the word, the talk, the ministering, the teaching would be enough to discern the oneness and those that are therein. But battling with the world, Yah wanted me to understand, don't let sorrow pull up on you because of darkness. Don't let sorrow have its place. Because Deborah, the title of this message, they cannot be changed. The Father is trying to show me that as bad as I am able to behold the reality of this living, and I'm holding within me the ruach of the spirit realm, neither nor he wants me to understand could change. They cannot, Deborah, be changed. Now, the problem with me, and do I have a problem? Yes, I have a problem. I have a problem of gripping the idea so tight that it's nothing you can say, you can do, you can preach, you can teach that's going to change anyone. The Ruach said they cannot be changed, Deborah. So don't bring your sorrow down to their level of darkness. Don't bring your sorrow down to their level of wickedness. Don't bring it to the level of way the world feels about the way it does things, it sees things, it understands things. No. Because you'll find out not even you can be made. Not even you are made to change. Heavens has orchestrated our destiny from one end, which is the beginning, to the end. And while we're running around here thinking we hold the power, the authority, we rule this, they cannot be changed. Because they in their minds, they think that, hey, I run this. This is my living. But they have no idea. Even your living cannot be changed. I began to wash dishes and feel this horror of sorrow. And then I began to blame the Most High Yah for it all. He don't have no problem being blamed. He's the beginning and the end. So if you want to blame anyone, especially me, I can bring it before the Yah, because he's the beginning and the end of it all. He's where it started. He's where it's going to end. So I'm in the kitchen blaming him for how the world has gotten to A to Z in its wickedness, and Satan have successfully deceived the whole world and continue to deceive them. But then I think about the strong delusion, that I would pour out a strong delusion so they can continue to believe the lie. So you see, the change cannot be switched over. If they believe the lie, he's going to allow them to continue to believe the lie. All the way to the end. And when I say to the end, I don't mean the end of the world. I'm talking about the end even of your life. So that just shows you how bad of a condition a person can be in and still don't understand that, baby, who you are is who you are from the beginning to the end. There's no change. Nothing changed. I began to be so upset this morning while I was washing dishes and saying, and I brought some kind of a sorrow to it, because I'm like, I've learned one thing. I'm going to tell y'all that I learned that the world never knew. And I'm going to give you what I've given you many times. But I'm going to give you one of the main mystery of the power punch. The main mystery of the power punch was and is and shall always be. But in me, I feel sorrow. I feel that great sorrow, because I'm like, but Father, they never knew. They never took to it. And then I don't I don't know if something like this can go on and they never knew. Yes, it can, because he said, minds perish due to lack of knowledge, because they reject knowledge. So when it's rejected, it's because they don't want no part of what is truth. So it's a form of rejecting it, and it's not like heavens didn't know that they would, because he said they cannot ever be changed. Heavens is not coming. And when he said it was finished, he knew what finished mean and meant. We just down here clowning like clowns, but we don't understand it's over. And guess what? You cannot be changed. So what he was explaining to me, because I was so hurt this morning, you guys. I was so hurt on top of hurt, on top of hurt, on top of hurt, because I said to the Father, I said, but you allow them thousands of years. And here it is, Father, in the year 2025. They never were able to behold the truth of the whole matter from the beginning. And I'm going to give you one of them. This is just one of them. One of them was that everything that came out of the womb of a man, his seeds, was going to continue his ways. So this is the way of the world, is what you see. Because a man never paid attention to him having the seeds that inherit life and living. Even to today. They have no idea. Men have no idea the product of their sons is a product of their failure, of their hidden darkness. Men never knew the product of their daughters was the product of their hidden sin, their hidden wickedness, their hidden ways. They never knew. So when you pull up today, I'm like getting so emotional, I'm just wanting to cry. And I had to wipe my eyes, because y'all don't go for that. He don't go for them tears on the outside. If you're going to cry to him, you better bet. You best your bet. You better cry from the inside. Because if you think he going to be moved by your outside crying, you can hang that up. I'll wipe them tears quick. And I said, but this is the way you orchestrated it. And then that's when he told me, they cannot be changed. Heaven is so assured that what heaven created, it is what it is. Let's start in Ecclesiastes because he gave me a friend, which is my brother Solomon. It don't move me that people say things about Solomon and how many wives he had, because people say things about Sister Deborah, and 99.9 is a lie. So I look at what he had, 300. I know a man can barely hold enough of himself for one. So I already know the lie of the sick minds of the men today would take 300 and lust and fantasize that their way could be like unto Solomon. If Solomon had wives, they could have had friends, and those that was there, they brought into the fold, where he took care of them, he housed them. It did not have to be the way the lust is today, the way evil and wicked think and feel today. And when it all said and done, the thing that Yah used to tame me was, you knew. Deborah, you already knew. And you known. I gets in the shower after I'm done cleaning up and washing dishes. I gets in the shower. Same thing. He put on my heart, they cannot change. And you knew it. You knew. See, being in a day like it is today, seeing the things in the world, I was explaining to my ex-husband how I can't even turn on the television and get anything out of anything. I can't turn on YouTube and get anything out of anything. People have not even paid attention to all the wickedness that's on YouTube, that they don't and they can't get a good message for the spirit. And I'm sitting back thinking, who would want all this chaos being fed to them from the television? And they paying to have the service. You see? They paying for all the movies and all the Netflix and Hulu and all of this to entertain them. And they're so content and so faithful to them to make sure every month that they pay them. They pay the world. They pay Satan. They pay darkness. They pay evil. And they don't have no problem. I don't have no problem. See, this is what you call individuals that cannot be changed. They are stuck on the darkness, the ways of the world, the cares of the world, the wicked of the world, and they calling it all light because they think they are holding the light and the light is holding them. They call it spirit and truth because they think they're holding spirit and truth. But the truth of it all is that you're holding so much worldly, wicked, evil, darkness that you can't even divide the darkness from the light. Because there's nothing in you to show you the difference, to teach you the difference. So the Father wanted me to know that it's your fault that you're feeling that way, Deborah. Because not only did you know, you knew. So I'm coming from Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 14 through, I think, 18, maybe 17. And I want to start there. Then I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13 through 16. Let's start with Ecclesiastes chapter 1. And let's go to verse 14. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 14. I like to thank the Most High Yah for his servant, Solomon, leaving this information for me. Because this information is a part of what supports he that is greater in me than he that is in the world. It support Sister Deborah in her journey, her purpose in Yah on this earth. And Solomon, which is a servant of the Most High Yah, no matter which way everybody want to turn it, he's still a spiritual servant. And I thank the Father for leading me here this morning to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 14 through 18, because it is such encouragement to this journey I walk today, 2024, 25, excuse me. And Solomon speaks here in verse 14, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 14, and it reads, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun. And behold, all is vanity and vexed of spirits. Look at the ability that the Most High Yah gave Solomon to see the wickedness that rests therein under the sun. You see the message that Solomon is turning over to Solomon, Yah's servant, turning over to Sister Deborah, Yah's servant, for today. Solomon letting me know that Deborah, don't look for what you think under the sun. It's much. Listen to what he said. I have seen the works that are done under the sun. And behold, that means look, all of it is vanity and vexed of spirits. That was my words to the Most High Yah this morning. Why did everybody get away with wrong and not know that it was wrong, not know that it was evil and wicked, not know that it was darkness? Because it's in them. And it cannot be changed. Okay? So here in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 14, it says, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, Deborah. And behold, Deborah, all is vanity and vexed of spirits. It's letting me know. It's not going to change because you on the earth, baby. It's not going to change because greater is he that is in thee than he that is in the world. It's not going to change because you are a prophetess. It's not going to change because you full of the Ruach HaKodesh, Deborah. What is under the sun is seriously vain, vanity, vexation of spirits. He go on to talk about 15. That which is crooked, Deborah, cannot be made straight. That's the message that the Father gave me in the shower. Deborah, they cannot be changed. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter how much spirit and truth you preaching. It don't matter how much light you got in your right hand. It don't matter, Deborah, how much you are full of the Ruach HaKodesh. Here's Solomon. Here's Solomon. And Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 15, that which is crooked, Deborah, cannot be made straight. Why? Because what Yah said to me in the shower. They cannot be changed. And that which is wanting cannot be numbered. Just like he told me in the shower. They cannot be changed. And as Solomon continued to minister to my spirit, in verse 16 it says, I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I have come to a great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that has been before me in Jerusalem. He's letting you know that Yah has suffered him more wisdom of the things of the world than anyone that have ever existed in Jerusalem. I feel that. I feel that same way, but I feel it not just in the flesh. I feel it in the spirit. That's why I tell you in my message, I am weak. Because I can feel that aloneness, that oneness in Yah, as if it's just him and I. Knowing that it's not just him and I, but it does not erase the fact of him being greater in me and me being in him in the spirit, but yet I'm still flesh. I'm still feeling this thing. Okay? So in verse 16, Solomon says, I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to a great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that has been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart has great experience of wisdom and knowledge. What he's speaking of is the wisdom and knowledge of the world. He's speaking of the wisdom and knowledge of the world that Yah has suffered him to understand under the sun. See, Yah gave him the ability to know what he's dealing with under the sun, on this earth, in this world. Let's put it like that. He gave him wisdom and knowledge of this world. And you know what? I feel that thing. Because I feel Yah has given me the wisdom and knowledge of this world. But he gave it to me through him, through the Ruach HaKodesh. Not only did he give me it to see and behold it, but guess what? He lives in me to stay on top of it. So I would be able to be in tune with what is spirit and truth with the light in my right hand, more so than what wisdom and knowledge of the world has to offer me, which is nothing. Okay, so Solomon is actually saying to you all that he has been blessed by Yah to understand the wicked of the world, and that it's not going to change. That which is crooked in the world is going to remain crooked. That which is wanting cannot be counted in the world. Okay, verse 17, and I like how he said in 16 that he experienced the wisdom and knowledge. That's what he got. That's what Yah blessed him with. The ability to understand this world and its wisdom and its knowledge. To me, that's beautiful. But I know that it comes with a great sorrow. I can't help but say it. Because the wisdom and knowledge Yah has applied and allowed me to see in this world, let me tell you something. It's sorrow in it. So that's why I say y'all, some really sick people out there who don't understand the difference between the world and the difference between the spirit of Yah living in an individual who's not of the world, who's not here to serve the world, who's not here to walk in the world, who's not here to talk and preach in the world, but here to teach spirit and truth. It's a big difference. It's a feeling that come with it. Because you're seeing the wisdom of the world, you're seeing the wisdom of the knowledge in this world, but then you got the spiritual wisdom in the inside and the spiritual knowledge. Wait a minute, something going on. So I'm just so grateful that he is greater in me than me myself could ever be. He is so greater in me than he that is even in the world. Okay? So in verse 17, in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 17, it says, and I gave my heart to know wisdom. See? On the earth. He gave his natural heart to know and to focus on the things that was known. His heart to know wisdom that's on the earth. And verse 17 says, and I know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vanity and vexation and of spirits. So what was Solomon knowing? Solomon got a gift from Yah to be able to know the things of the world and the spirits of those therein. See? Solomon got to know the other side as well. And that is the side that Yah had allowed him to know what's going on the earth, under the sun, in the world where Satan abides. Solomon is actually teaching y'all that, telling you exactly what is going on in the world to support those that even today, the way they preach and teach and on these devil platforms, so you can teach the people that Yah had someone spotting everything out under the sun, which is in this world. And Solomon's sitting here telling you it's all vexation in spirits. It's vanity and vexation of spirits in the world under the sun. The Father allowed Solomon his own spiritual seed to bring to Sister Deborah the knowledge of what's truly was, is, and shall always be under the sun. Vanity and vexations mixed in all spirits. So this is why the Father was schooling me this morning. He said, you know, because you knew. Don't think I'm going to get something out of the Father that he hasn't already have given me and taught me. Don't think your emotion is going to bring to him a different word. He's going to translate your butt right back to what you already knew. So when I get to verse 18, Solomon says, we in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increased knowledge increased sorrow. When you really get to know this world in which you're living in, under the sun. See how people thinking they walking? This is my life. I do what I want, baby. You under the sun. What the rats behind you think you at? You're under the sun. Do you understand that? Every last one of y'all better grip. Whether you better or you would or you won't or you don't, that's on you. But Solomon is saying something. But I guess it's only for somebody like me. Born of the Spirit. Who walks in the Spirit. Okay? So Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18, for in much sorrow, he said, in much wisdom, it's much grief. And he that increased in knowledge increased in sorrow. That means, Deborah, you know, said the Most High Yah, you know what's under the sun. This informed me that I got also what Solomon was given by Yah, to know wisdom and knowledge under the sun. That means all these years Yah has been teaching me and been in me and been leading me was for me to know the both. And to stand here in the year of 2025 with a feeling of sorrow in my heart, emotions. No, baby, that's a no-no. Because you knew. You know. You knew, you know, you knew, you know what is under the sun. You have the ability, Deborah, to know the wisdom and knowledge because I'm your teacher from your inside. I would not suffer you to know spirit and truth without knowing the other side, that which is under the sun. The wisdom of the world, the knowledge of the world. I even gave you the understanding of how they function and how they think. Don't come to me like that. Because you know, Deborah. You know, Deborah, because you knew. That's how long he's been dealing with me and working with me. At the level of where I knew and I know, but by me being human, I feel that thing. I still feel that thing. So, the power punch in what Solomon said to the prophetess. That which is crooked, Deborah, cannot be made straight. And that which is wanting cannot be numbered. He wants me to understand, for in much wisdom is much grief. So that's why you're experiencing grief, Deborah. And he that increased in knowledge, increased in sorrow. That's what you're feeling this morning, Deborah. Because you know the wisdom and knowledge under the sun. Solomon is even letting you know that in verse 18, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18, for in much of that wisdom, Deborah, you know. I want to tell you, baby, there is grief. And Deborah, in much of that knowledge that you keep increasing, baby, it is sorrow. This is my experience this morning speaking to the Most High Yah out of a lot of disappointment. Solomon just summed it up because Yah summed it down. And he sent me to Solomon. That which is made crooked cannot be made straight, Deborah. I know you care. How do I, as Sister Deborah, think or feel that if Yah created the whole world and the whole world deny who he is? Did I ever think how he should feel versus what I'm feeling? So now let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Solomon going to give me a little something here. What I'm realizing is that when the Comforter comes, it will comfort you. But it is going to comfort you in the spirit so that it can float in the flesh. So here in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13 through 16. 13 reads, consider the work of Yah. For who can make that straight which he has made crooked? You see? I'm just showing y'all how he pull up on me. I'm just trying to show y'all how he pull up on me. And if you really listen to the message, you'll see I'm speaking of what took place with me this morning and how y'all had to check me. Now, how he checked me was they cannot be changed. He sent me to Solomon. But him sending me to Solomon also wanted me to know, but you know. For you knew. For you know, Deborah, because you knew. Don't lose it, baby. Because you knew. Because you know. You know because you knew. So here in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13, it says, consider the work of Yah. That means, Deborah, you know. Because you knew. You knew the work of Yah was from the kingdom. You knew about the right hand. You knew that which was, is, and shall be was what was. You knew that it is written. You knew the kingdom orchestrated everything on the earth. So that which is crooked gonna remain crooked. You can't straighten it up, Deborah. So here in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13, consider the work of Yah, meaning respect, Deborah. What you knew. What you know. For who can make that straight which he has made crooked? Verse 14. In the day of prosperity. And what does prosperity mean? In the day of peace, harmony, completeness, peace, harmony, wholeness, prosperity. Be joyful. But in the day of adversity, be joyful. No. Let me go back to 14. Let me get that right. I'm tripping over the words that I know how to pronounce. Let's go to 14. In the day of prosperity, be joyful. Prosperity letting you know you're supposed to be joyful. And why? Because it's a completeness. And you're supposed to be a wholeness. And you're supposed to be having peace. Okay? In what? In the day. But in the day of adversity, consider. Now, what is adversity? Tribulation, trouble, distress, affliction. And it says, consider. Watch this here. Yah also have set the one over against the other, to the end that no man should find nothing after him. But Deborah, you know, because you knew. For Deborah, you know, for you knew. I guess it's more so, I think my issue and I think might be, it's more of the flesh, trying to understand why haven't the creation itself been revealed. He that created it. And look what it was created for. And its purpose of being created. To me, to see thousands and thousands of years gone by and the truth of creation itself has not been revealed, it leads me to understand it wasn't important in the eyes of the Creator, because he knew the intent before the foundation of the world of each and every last one of us. So it didn't have a reason for why it was what it was, because it wouldn't help to have had a reason for why it is what it is and why it's doing what it's doing. And I'm just thinking of the ideal of knowing wisdom and knowledge under the sun, knowing that the purpose of a man was to travel the seas, and the minds of the seeds would be of the minds of the man that carried the seeds. And I'm like, here we are. There has not been no liability, no nothing to make them look within themselves and see where it all started, so they can see how it's all going to end. But it's not the will of the Father. That 99.9 know truth under the sun. Okay, so when we get to Ecclesiastes chapter 13, and I'm going to go on down again, it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13, consider the work of Yah. Now, the work of Yah was from the kingdom. It's taking you right back to the kingdom. No heaven, no earth, no nothing designed but the kingdom, the throne. It's taking you right back to the throne. When it's telling you consider the work of Yah, that's taking you right back to the throne, to his power. Okay? For who can make, see, that was their right hand power. He make. Who can make that straight which he that's on the throne has made crooked? You see how we can't change it down here, what the heavens of the throne of his power have made crooked? We can't change it down here. And that's what the Father is telling me. I know you got the sorrow. He said, because you got what Solomon has. You got the wisdom and the knowledge, Deborah, of the world. And that's what you're using. That's what hurts you. That's why Solomon said it's much grief and much sorrow. Because there's a consequences from having that type of ability to have that wisdom and knowledge of the world. It's something that's given from Yah. And we did not give it to ourselves. So Solomon even said it. It was great grief and sorrow. See? So that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Because it was the intent that we understand what is under the sun. And in understanding it, it's going to show you so clear to where you're going to have sorrow and grief. Knowing the reality, knowing the truth of the whole matter. And that's what Sister Deborah battled with. So here he's letting you know, if heaven's made it crooked, Deborah, or if heaven's made that, for who can make the straight? Who can make that straight which Yah has made crooked? We can't. And that's why a lot of people in their families trying to make things right. People at their workplace, in their communities, in their neighborhood, on YouTube. These post-sick Hebrew Israelite men trying to make things right. The only thing you can make right is the relationship with you and Yah. You need to be in the right place with the right one. And that is the Most High Yah. Okay? Verse 14 say, in the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider. Yah also has set the one against the other. See how heaven? You see what he did on the throne? He set one against the other. What are y'all doing down here? That's why I'm telling you, it was a blessing to leave. It's a blessing to leave one channel to go to another. The same offer on the first channel was given to all. But you see how only a few answered the email to come to transport to the new? It's showing you a lot of people have used it on the old just for a sense of belonging and in a sense of unity, in a sense of being in the place where they can continue to feed their emotions and their feelings and their wisdom and their knowledge in their flesh. You see, to where they didn't hear the call. They didn't hear the trumpet. See, a lot of y'all didn't know that. They didn't hear the trumpet. They didn't hear the call to give Deborah an email so that I can give you the new channel. Give me, go to the email and send me something saying that you want to go to the new channel. They didn't have it. Wasn't in them to see it. They didn't hear it. That shows you that you're speaking and they're not hearing it. And it's meant that way, Deborah. Feel that thing. See, I'm sitting here wondering, why am I feeling this thing? Because you understanding, Deborah, the wisdom that's under the sun. You're understanding. You have that. You have what it takes, Deborah, to know the wisdom and the knowledge that's under the sun. But I come to abide in you, to give that which is spirit and truth from within, to support you in this journey in which I've called you. Okay, so here in Ecclesiastes chapter 15, and it says in chapter 15, let's go back to 14. It says in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 14, and it says, Yah also have set one over against the other, to the end that man shall find nothing after him. See, when you come to the understanding from the Ruach, the things that's in and under the sun, he's giving you the fullness, not so much as the fullness, but he's giving you a portion of wisdom and knowledge of how Satan is ruling this world and the things that's taking place that's under the world, that's under the sun, which is the world, what is actually taking place, that is that vanity, vexation with spirits. So that you can be the teacher that you are, Deborah, to be the prophet in the wilderness that's taught by the Ruach that you are. You got both parts to it that you can give someone. He that is not for you are totally against you, baby. You cannot change. They cannot be changed, Deborah. Listen to Ecclesiastes in verse 13. Consider the work of Yah, meaning letting you know that right hand did this work. What work did he do? It says, for who can make that straight which he, the power of Yah, has made crooked. He's speaking in our families, amongst our children, amongst our loved ones, amongst our mother and a father, our husband and wives, our friends, our neighbors, our extended family, our co-workers, our place where we serve the world. You cannot make it straight if it was created by the right hand to be crooked. Deborah, you knew. Deborah, you know. Deborah, you knew. Deborah, you know. Don't let darkness, wicked, and evil get the upper hand of what you knew. What you know. So in verse 14 of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, it says, in the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider. Now listen to what he did. Listen to what the Most High Yah did. Listen to what the Most High Yah did. Yah also have set. See, set means Deborah. They cannot be changed. Deborah, they cannot be changed. He's saying, Yah also have set the one against the other, to the end that man shall not find nothing after him. Y'all have it wrong. And you got this little old lady teaching you spirit and truth. And you can't even handle the wisdom and knowledge under the sun. And Yah gave me that comfort that I needed by sending me over here to Solomon, by chastising me instant. I appreciate how great he is in me than he that's in the world. So here he's saying in verse 15, all things have I seen in the days of my vanity. That means the days he's living in this world. There is a just man that perished in his righteousness. Praise the mighty God. There is a just man, verse 15, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, that perished in his righteousness. And there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. A lot of people don't even understand. A lot of people have what they have because they stole what they got. So he's sitting here saying, there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. They have a long life and they still do wickedness from one end to the next. Why? Because it's in them. They cannot be changed. You cannot make a crooked straight because it come from the throne crooked by the right hand of the Father. Okay, and then it's telling you what it says here in 15, verse 15. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. Solomon telling you what he saw in the world. Okay, he saw that there is a just man that perished in his righteousness. He's gonna be righteous, and he perished, but yet he perished righteous. Okay, and there is a wicked man that prolongs his life in his wickedness. That's why I tell y'all, don't let nobody tell you a person died because that's what they punishment because they died. Before you came in, you went out. Okay? Let me say that again. Before you came in, you went out. Let me say that again. Before you came in, you went out. Before you lived, you were dead. Okay? So, here in verse 15, and it says, and there is, in verse 15, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. Letting you know, why you wonder how is it they've been doing all this wickedness all this time. They're put down here to do wickedness. And that's why wickedness is going all the way to the end. Because it has a wicked, eternal lake of fire waiting it. Okay? Okay. Verse 16 says, be not righteous over much. Be not righteous over much. Neither make thyself over wise. Because people are not going to get in through your righteousness. So don't think you have to be much righteous. Or you have to be overly wise. Because no one gets in through your much righteous or through your overly being wise. They don't get in. Sister Deborah, you don't get in because you listen to Sister Deborah. You get in because you're already written in. You see? This is what he said in verse 16. Be not righteous over much. Because you don't have to role play it. You don't have to. That's why I sit and I tell y'all. I even give you my lifestyle. I even tell you all things. Because in me is something sealed. I don't even have to get on this devil platform. And I still got what it takes. Yah is blessing someone for me to just to be on this devil platform. So that you too may continue to receive this food of the Spirit and not be discouraged by the world. Because I'm going to tell you something, this world and the way it does things, it'll take you under. So here in 16, it says, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why should thou destroy thyself? That is so true. That is so true. So it also helps me to understand what Yah is trying to tell me about a place that I didn't want to go, and how you can go anywhere you want to. You can go anywhere you want to go. Don't be so righteous that you can't go amongst unrighteous. Don't be so overly wise where you can't go in the midst of those who have no wisdom. You can go wherever you want to go. Because you know, Deborah. Because you knew. Because you know. Because you knew. You can go anywhere you want to go. Okay. So it says here, why should thou destroy thyself? Because you destroy yourself. When people think they're holier than thou, when people think they're so wise, they destroy themselves. This is what is happening to the Hebrew Israelites. Remember in Deuteronomy 28, you remember what I was telling y'all? They destroyed. Look at how this being destroyed. Look how here, listen to this. Be not righteous over much. They want to be so righteous, and they are the true Jews, or we are the people, we the best, we the this, we the this, we the that, and what else? And they're thinking they're overly wise. They have the answer. Who's a who and who's a what. He's a what. No, baby. You have the things of the world. You have the wisdom and knowledge of what the wisdom and knowledge of the world have given you. Until you step into the realm of what is spirit and truth, you're still lost with the cause and without. And I like the end of it, because he's saying, why should thou destroy thyself? He's speaking to me based on the conversation I was having with the Most High Yah this morning. He's speaking to me through that verse alone. He says, why should thou destroy thyself? Why? For you knew, Deborah, and you know. For you knew, Deborah, and you know. Why are you going to destroy yourself? Don't. Because there's no end to all of this, verse 16, all of this wisdom and all of this self-righteous. There's no end. What you have is what I've given you. What you continue to get is what is in you, giving it to you. So, don't destroy yourself when you knew, Deborah, and you know. In a sense, Yah did not have to bring Solomon up on me this morning. I already knew and I know. And that's what he's saying. Don't pull away from what you knew and what you know. Because you will destroy. Why shouldst thou destroy thyself? Just keep with what you knew and keep in what you know. And you'll be okay. Because I'm greater in thee than anything under the sun. Praise the mighty Yah. So verse 17, no, that's it. That's it. I give the Most High Yah all glory, all honor, and all praise for this message. I thank him, and I thank you for your ear to hear. But I say unto you all, they cannot be changed. You cannot be changed tuning in to Sister Deborah. You cannot be changed tuning in to no one on all these platforms. If you are created crooked, that is whom you were created to be, and you cannot be made straight. Now, what Yah is talking to and who he's talking to through Ecclesiastics is not people who don't know who they are. These are people who are his servant that knows who he is. You see? So this message is also to those who have an ear to hear and an eye to see into what Ecclesiastics chapter 1, verse 14 through 18 is saying. Ecclesiastics chapter 7, verse 13 through 16 is saying. He's only talking to a people that are his servants, schooling us that all is on the earth is vanity and vexation of spirits. That's the battle and the warfare that's taking place that nobody wants to talk about, preach about, teach about, reveal. Because going back to what he said, they cannot be changed. So Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of it, because guess what? I did. Shalom and shalom.